Mr. Wong, a very big welcome.
Evening, Salma.
We know you have been very busy jointly helming Singapore's response to the pandemic with Health Minister Gan Kim Yong. Now, it's been slightly more than 2.5 months since the task force was set up. Could you share some of your experiences with us?
Well, you know, Salma, this is such a rapidly changing situation. It's so fluid. It's changing day by day. So literally, we are living through times of anxiety and high stress. Right? Every day we are discussing, thinking through potential scenarios of how the virus can unfold, and then developing new measures, adjusting and updating our measures. So this is where we are. It's been 2.5 months, like you said. I remember when we first started, people were still wondering, you know, was there a need for a task force? Were we overreacting? But now we are in a completely different world. Not just in Singapore, but everywhere in the world.
Sorry, you said you are meeting every day?
Well, not literally in a physical meeting, but we touch base on a daily basis, right? So either through virtual meetings or through physical meetings, we are touching base every day, going through information, going through daily updates, and then coordinating the work of the task force.
Right. So could we do a quick look back over the past 10 weeks? What do you think Singapore has done right? And what could we have done better? Now with hindsight, right? What could we have done better?
Well, with hindsight, everything can be done better.
True.
So I take the attitude that we are always looking to improve. We don't assume that we are in the perfect situation, right? And we always look to improve. We do have a good system today. It is a system for public health emergencies that was developed and built up after the painful experience of SARS. So this whole of government system has been effective. It does allow us to coordinate and integrate well across different agencies and to put in place decisions and measures in a very decisive and swift manner. And so we have been constantly looking at data. We want our measures to be based on science and evidence and to be able to move quickly in response to a very rapidly changing situation. So I think those are our strengths.
Yes.
But we don't take any of these for granted, and we just continue to, you know, look ahead at the situation. I'm sure after all this is over, we can do a full, what the military calls AAR, after action review.
Right.
And I'm sure when you look back, there will be things that can be improved, there will be enhancements made to the system. But for now, we are in the midst of a battle, so let's focus on it and get the job done.
Actually, Singapore has been lauded by many countries around the world as one of the best examples. However, there are people in Singapore itself who are asking, should we have stopped the Chinese from coming in earlier because the first 18 cases were from China? Should we have asked people to social distance a bit earlier? Would the numbers have been smaller? Now, as you say, hindsight is always perfect. So on hindsight, perhaps, going back then, if you know what you know now, would you have brought it forward?
So again, as I said, if you look at all of these measures, one of the challenges we've had to make is making decisions in consequential decisions in a very short period of time with not a lot of data and information and with very short reaction time. And these are important decisions that have impact on people's lives and livelihoods. So again, with the benefit of hindsight, certainly you could say some things could have been done faster. Perhaps some things were not even necessary. So we can always learn with the benefit of hindsight and with experience and improve decision making. There's no doubt that things can be improved. But like I said, let's deal with it going forward. Let's deal with the situation at hand.
Right. Now, the numbers around the world has been going up a lot, right? So in Singapore, they're still relatively contained. But given what's happening in the other countries, what are your greatest fears about this pandemic?
Well, we've said it before. If you look at how the virus spread so quickly, you only need one event to be a super spreader event that can cause a large, uncontrollable outbreak, and then it starts to accelerate. When it accelerates and it's out of control, it overwhelms your hospital system, and then you start to see rising mortality rates, particularly amongst the more vulnerable groups. And so that's our biggest worry. You have seen this in countries that have put in place very good precautions and have very good hospital systems, like in Korea. They have done everything right. But still, there was an uncontrollable outbreak in some of their cities. So that's our biggest fear, that even with the best of measures, even taking all the precautions that we do, and even with an excellent contact tracing system, which people call the gold standard, with all of these things, we do recognize that there are still risks, and these risks can cause significant harm to Singaporeans. So we are concerned. We are always looking day by day how the situation unfolds, looking ahead at potential risk and what we can do to mitigate some of these risks.
Does this keep you awake at night? Do you give you nightmares, for example? Do you wake up in cold sweat and say, oh my God, we've got...
So like I said, we live through anxiety and stress all the time now. Certainly for me, it's living through these few days or this past 2.5 months, and as the situation escalates, it weighs on my mind a lot more. I don't have such a peaceful sleep at night, but those are the things we have to handle, and those are important decisions that all of us, both in the task force and Singaporeans together, have to deal with collectively.
Since you were made the co-chair in January of this task force, has all these, frankly, a double portfolio, because you're still National Development Minister, right? And you still have to do your work there?
Yes, of course.
Right, and take this up on top. So has it affected your personal life, your family life at all?
Well, like I said, there's certainly more work, more stress associated with the work. I'm complying and abiding by all the safe distancing guidelines. So I work from home as much as I can too. In fact, within my ministry, we have pushed up our work from home percentage to more than 90%. I tell all my staff, non-essential meetings, we don't have to gather together. We can do teleconference and phone calls, and then more than 90% of them can work from home. So we still work through emails, through teleconferences. So as a result of all this, plus the fact that many activities and events have now been cancelled or deferred, I have, interestingly, more time at home. Right? I spend a lot more time at home now. Right? I see my wife a lot more than before. But the flip side of it is that then all of this free time is now spent thinking through, working through all the things that we have to do as part of the task force.
Right, so it's good.